like, just calm down, folks. Just calm down. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Best Boys Center Ice podcast. I'm Barry Besse, and the fellow to the right of me here is my handsome son, Carson, who is, by my estimation, is probably the best hockey analyst. See, the great thing about Carson is he's not like me. He doesn't have a teleprompter with all the stuff all the notes he has. He has it all up in his brain. Carson, Pittsburgh Penguins fan. And we've told the story about how Carson decided when he started watching hockey what team he was going to like. And it was a game between Dallas and Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh won, and that's the team he went for, and that's the team he cheers for. Of course, I cheer for the Edmonton Oilers. I've been a fan of the Oilers since they were in the WHA days in the 1970s. And yes, Carson, they had hockey in the 1970s.
Back with the Dinos.
There you go with the dinosaurs. The Tyrannosaurus Rex were the first team ever to play. So we do this podcast. We've been doing it for a couple of years now. With our third season.
We're about to hit 2 years technically because we did December of 23, I think is when we started.
Technically 2 years, but we love doing it. We love talking hockey. We would go up to Dallas Stars games, and we would just talk hockey the whole time. So we figured let's do a podcast about it, and that's what we're doing. It's live on YouTube right now, and also live on Facebook. And I gotta get my phone so I can see who's on Facebook. But you can join us on Facebook Live right now, or on our YouTube channel, which is the Best Boys Center Ice podcast on YouTube. And we'd love to really hear from you, what you have to say. Who's your favorite team? How's your team doing? And just any kind of comments that you can have, we'll take them right now. And Carson, we haven't been on for a couple of weeks. Lots of things going on with the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Edmonton Oilers. And if you'd like to kick off the proceedings with how the Penguins have done the last couple of weeks.
Well, they've kind of not fallen flat a little bit, but not as many wins as they should have really at this time. They're 9-5-3, which is very fine for where they're supposed to be at this point after 18 games. But since we last talked, I think their record is 1-2-2. So not the best. Obviously, they after we had talked, they played in Winnipeg, or no, they played actually 2-2-2 then since we last talked, because they played the night after we last went on. They played against Minnesota and St. Paul and played phenomenal. Total 60-minute effort. At the time the Wild had the best power play in the league, and I think the worst penalty kill. And the Penguins killed off so many penalties, like 4 or 5 that game, and they scored a power play goal. The only power play they had, and that was the difference in that game. Special teams was amazing. And then they go to Winnipeg and they play kind of a dead game. Just didn't look like they were awake or ready when the game started at 2:00, and the Jets just rolled over them. And it was 5-2 final score in that one. And then after that, they had that gut-wrenching loss in Toronto on the Monday night. They had the game that was honestly up to this point probably the best game they played all year, and they lost in regulation. They're up 3-0 after the second period. Up 25-8 on the shots, and then Tristan Jarry happened in the third period. He couldn't save anything. We scored 3 goals practically before the first commercial break, and then they get the winner with 7 minutes left or so, and that's it. I mean, it was brutal. I mean, that's a game they should have had at least a point in with how well they played, and they didn't get anything. And, it looked like they had kind of that little bit of tendency where they were letting off the gas, but still, Tristan Jarry, I mean, he just had to be average in that moment, and he was not average. He was way below, and that's why they lost. Then after that, they headed home to play Washington in a Thursday night matchup. the first of three matchups between those teams, and the Penguins won that game 5-3. But again, they made it difficult on themselves. They went up 3-0 in this game and blew the lead again. That Washington tied it up at the end of the second, but then the Pens scored a power play goal. They went 3 for 4 that night on the power play, so they were amazing on it. But they they let the game slip and they got it back luckily and won the game. But bad trend with letting like just not playing the full 60. I suppose they had no reason to let off the gas and they just did. And any team in this league can make a comeback, and they got lucky that they didn't get spoiled by Washington, because that would have been a very bad spot to have 2 games in a row where you should have really 4 points in the bag, at least three, if anything, and they could have had zero. So they got that one done. Um, and then thereafter that one, they had to play. Uh, my memories. I'm gonna cheat. Use
Your
Google. I
memory's going
forgot.
already?
Huh?
Your memory's going already?
I just can't remember who they played after Washington. They had to play because they've only played a couple times since then. Uh, oh, they had to play against New Jersey and on Saturday in New Jersey, and that's a bugaboo team that they just struggle against. And they played the better. They were the better team. The Pens were the better team, but they get to the shootout this season and they're horrible. Um, Archer Shilov's as good as he's been in 5-on-5 this season so far, counting in penalty shots he's faced and shootout attempts. He's been scored on 8 of the 9 times that someone's faced him like that, whether it's a penalty shot or a shootout. So I mean, it's impossible to win that way. So the Pens get 1 point again. Very, very good point because they played a really good game. They definitely deserve to win it, but they didn't get the result. Every team I feel like has that goalie or two that just is lights out against him, and for whatever reason, Jake Allen is lights out against the Penguins anytime he plays them. It's like it's uh, prime Marty Brodeur or Hasek. Like he just doesn't.
Yeah.
He stops everything, and it's like you could have a 200 foot wide, 200 wide or 200 foot net, and he'd somehow save the puck. Like it's just that's just kind of how it feels. But then they finally had to play uh, the second of a back to back at home against LA on Sunday, and another game they were playing really well. They were the better team for the most part, and they let the game slip in the third, and the Kings got 2 goals in the third and took the game. That was the NHL debut for Sergei Murashov, who is Jari's replacement because he's out for a few weeks. He got hurt in the Toronto game. So they, wasted a pretty good game because they had it. They had the Kings by the ropes, and they didn't get it done. When it mattered, and you could tell they're a bit fatigued from the back to back, but still, definitely should have had it. But that's hockey. That's the game. You're not always going to win these games. There's going to be times like that where you should have a game and you don't, and it's a learning lesson. But now it's about how they rebound. So they have a weird little stretch now because they haven't played since Sunday because they're participating in the international series games this weekend between Pitt and Nashville. So they play on Friday or tomorrow at like 1 p.m. Central Time. Uh, and then they play again Sunday at 8 a.m. because of the time zone, like how
Yeah.
different it is. So that's going to be fun waking up at 7:45 to
To
watch a
coach
game.
the game.
But then after that, then they're off till Friday again. So it's like they're only playing 2 games in the matter of almost 2 weeks, give or
Mhm.
take. From Sunday, from last Sunday, which would be then uh, the 9th, all the way until the 21st, 2 games. So it's very important that they get these 4 points against a national team that is struggling to get anything going. Can't win any games. The confidence isn't high,
Mhm.
but at the same time, trips like these can change the course of a season because, you get that team bonding experience. You're together for 4 or 5 straight days. You don't go home to see your family. You're with them all day long. So I'm hoping this is going to be a positive experience that they get the 4 points and,
Mhm.
turn around to come back home and play a lot of games because while they haven't been playing games, everybody else is, and they're going to have to catch up and play a lot of back to backs, play a lot of 3 and 4, 3 games in 4 nights. It's going to be the start of a not grueling schedule, but a more busy schedule. So hopefully they got the rest they needed and can get some points this weekend. Honestly, I'm very excited to watch these games. Obviously, the start times being different is going to be neat with 1 p.m. tomorrow. So I'll be propping my phone at my desk
Yeah.
tomorrow at work, and then Sunday on a day where I should be able to sleep in, I'm not going to because I'm going to be up at 7:45 to make sure I'm ready for the game. But it's exciting when they get to do stuff like this. Expand the game to different parts of the world and see the game in a different arena. I mean, this is an arena you never see a hockey game in, and now we get to watch it and see what it looks like
And a lot
in a
of the
different stage.
international arenas are bigger,
Uh-huh.
ice surface wise, because they're more like the Olympic size
Yeah. Yep. So
arenas.
it's gonna be great. I'm excited to see the fan atmosphere in that. I think it's Avicii Arena is what it's called. That to see what it looks like in there, how the engagement is from the fans. Overall, very good experience. Very good job to the league. Obviously, there's team or guys from both teams that are Swedish, so they get the opportunity to be home, see their friends, family, all that good stuff. But I'm very proud of where the Pens are at this point. I think they have exceeded everybody's expectations and probably up to this point are one of the more surprising teams in the National Hockey League because everybody said they were going to be in the bottom. Um, Honestly, including myself, because I mean, they're trying to get younger, and they had to get guys out of here. They signing guys to 1 year deals and shipping them off for draft capital, but it's worked. I mean, whatever they're doing, it's working. They've got that next man up mentality where guy goes down and the next guy steps up and plays his part. They've had a lot of injuries and they've just haven't stopped. They've played really good games. Up to this point, they've only had 2 games where they really just played awful, which is Winnipeg and then the Ranger game earlier this year. Other than that, they've looked great every night, and it's very enjoyable hockey. Regardless if they win or lose, they're playing really well. Um, you know, Everybody's stepping up. You have Mantha, who's got 8 goals this season. I hope that's somebody they can get back in next year. Or at most, they get good pieces for him at the deadline. Sid's being Sid, Gino's being Gino. Young guns are really stepping up. And the one that's really been exciting for me that I've been wanting for years is Carlson to play like Carlson, and he's finally getting to play that way. You can see the way he skates, the way he's playing. He's just got all the confidence. He's nearly at a point per game. He's playing amazing, and he's playing good defensively too, which is crazy. That's not what he's really known for, but he's played pretty well defensively and offensively. He's a genius, honestly, on the defensive side. So very positive. I think I'm rating so far this season for them an A because they still surpass expectations. They've been winning these games. They've been playing tough teams and grinding it out. Every night they're playing really good hockey. Now it's just about them getting back on it, not letting this rougher streak, if you want to call it that, slip because still they've gotten points in 12 out of the 17 games so far. So I'm pretty pleased.
Yeah, they are playing. I'm surprised. I guess I'm not. I am surprised. I thought that they wouldn't be as good as they are, but if they keep this going now, 18 games,
Well,
you're now into a rhythm,
well,
and
and
you
the
can't
nice
get
thing is this break has kind of allowed for some rest. So, think there's a lot of guys that have been out. Like Brazo got hurt he's out for now another probably 2.5, 3 weeks. Raquel's out. He broke his hand uh, against the Jackets. So I mean, you're losing a lot of big guys really that mean a lot to the team, and they're still playing really well. So it's just that next man up mentality. Everybody's playing together. This I feel like is just a great run for the team that they could make the playoffs and do something. Really, they're gonna if they get there. I don't think they're going to be as much of a write off as people think they would be or are because they've been playing against top level teams and been playing really good. And they've got that experience factor still in the team of those guys that know how to win, that they can get it done. They'll figure it out. Uh, the only thing they really have to get better at this point is just shootouts because you can't be getting to that point where you get there and it's going to be a loss because they just can't save the puck. And that's you don't practice that much on that as much as you do maybe penalty killing, power play, whatever. But still, it's something you got to master because they've already lost out on 3 points because of the shootout, and you don't want to get to that point. But overall, I'm very happy and pleased, and I hope they keep it going.
Yeah, I think they should be able to keep it going. We'll get into some of the NHL stuff here. A lot
Well,
of
let me ask you a
injury.
question.
Okay,
How about your best buddy, Stu?
well, we'll get to that.
Hey,
Get to that.
woo!
We will get to the goaltending of the Edmonton Oilers here in just a bit, and also a lot of injury updates from the
Oh
NHL.
yes.
A lot of guys hurt early. A lot of big key players hurt. So the Oilers are now 8-6-4. They went 4-2-2 in their last 8 games, and they started with a really bad overtime loss against the New York Rangers.
Yeah, that
And
was
then,
brutal. Then they have a 2-goal lead in the third,
yeah, they
right?
had two. See, that's the thing. The Oilers get a lot of these games that they're losing. They're up 2-0, 2-1, and they just kind of let it go and either lose it in overtime or they have to come back and win it, like they did against Chicago. They won 3-2 in overtime, and then it was three losses in a row for the Oilers. They lost in St. Louis 3-2. Dallas was a shootout 4-3 loss. And then their big loss, which is the one that everybody's talking about, was Saturday, 9-1 to Colorado. Colorado just
They ran over them.
ran over him, beat him up like the like somebody's ugly mutt or something like that. They were just Colorado was that much better than Edmonton, quicker on the puck.
That was awful. That was horrible.
That was the worst game, the worst score differentials in 13 years, I think, for the
That's the
Oilers.
worst game of the McDavid era.
Yeah,
Easy.
that was the
was
worst game of
awful.
the David era. But that game, if we go back and if we look at what happens in the season, that could be what turns around, because the next two games, the Oilers got back-to-back overtime wins in Columbus, or against Columbus, 5-4, and then Philly 2-1 to start the 7-game roadie. They're in Columbus right now playing. That's why I'm doing this a lot, looking over. It's 0-0.
And I never do that when the Pens play and we're on. I never do that when the Pens play and we're on.
Yeah, but I got
Cheating.
the TV right there. Yes,
no,
you
that
do.
I mean, and it's even thinking about it with that Columbus game, that could have been a disaster
that
because
could
they
have been.
scored. Columbus got that goal in the
Mhm.
third to make it 4-2, and the energy was just gone.
Yeah.
And I don't want to call it lucky. McDavid had those two beautiful goals, but the tying goal from Wallman was pretty lucky because it went off
It bounced. It bounced in.
off
You
a
got to take a
defenseman's
look.
stick. It shouldn't have happened, and it did.
Well, it's just like last night in Philly.
Oh.
The goal got called back on an offside. It was 23 seconds left. Philly were going to win 2-1.
Which
All of a
I
sudden,
do
they
have to
blew
say
it.
sometimes that rule's pretty dumb because
Yeah.
I get it where it's coming from, but if it doesn't impact the play,
Yeah,
you know.
it was in the last minute, so it was a league review, and they reviewed it. It was offside. It was offside.
It was.
And so they came back. They played overtime, and the Oilers win it back to back. Roslovic goals. He's in a groove. Overtime. He's got the last two overtime.
He should
is
be. I
really
think they should pair
impressive.
him up with McDavid.
I think
He's got that overtime clutch gene right now.
Yeah, and like he's been on the power play since Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has been out with an injury, and he can play with McDavid. He can play with Draisaitl. He's really fit in. He's one of the guys that has fit in.
That was a great. I hope they keep him back. He's looked pretty good.
Yeah. Like Mangiapane has been playing a lot with McDavid, and I think I like Roslovic with Draisaitl and Podkolznik. But
and I think it helps when you've got that righty. You've got Shaq Hyman who'll be back on that number one line, but you've got a very solid 1 and 2 right winger because Roslovic is a very good piece, and he knows how to score. You just got to put the puck on his stick.
Yeah, and he's good with the puck too. He
doesn't panic with it. He kind of gets it, and he's patient. Like he doesn't just make impulse choices. Like he's making smart decisions with it when he gets it, whether to dump it, pass it off, whatever. But I think somebody just needed to take a chance on him, to be honest. And he picked the right team because I think the Oilers play into what he played in Carolina, and not to dog them, but that's a very hard team to play with, really, if you want to be offensively potent, and that's what he is. And he got to do that a little bit, but this is an Oilers team that they're off. Like when I saw that he was not signing anymore in Carolina, I immediately thought of like Colorado and Edmonton, because I mean those two teams just love to score, and that's perfect for a guy like that who can probably score 30 plus if he's able to.
Yeah, we'll get to Shaq Hyman here in a second.
Very excited for him to come back.
Very excited. I'm very excited for him to.
You know what? They've handled it pretty well without him, and he's going to make a difference.
The defense been a bit shaky.
I don't care about the defense. Just get to the next part.
Okay, well, the defense, this is getting good. Sloppy passes in their own zone. It did get a lot better in Philly last night. But again, goaltending is the problem in Edmonton. And I've said this on my TikTok. Oh, and by the way, your Auntie Bev is watching. Hi, Bev.
Hello, Auntie Bev.
Um, I've said this. I'm going to say this every time I get a chance. Stuart Skinner, the Oilers need to do something. They need to move him. There's talk about UC Soros from Nashville
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
and a Skinner and I think Emerson going to Nashville. Something's got to happen. I think Calvin Pickard, who's actually got the start tonight against Columbus, I think Pick is a good backup. I think Stu could be a good backup somewhere else. I just don't think. I think maybe the pressure of being an Edmontonian, playing in Edmonton with that franchise, might be affecting him because there's some days he looks great, and there's some days where he will let a beach ball in from half ice.
It's just weird. Like it's just not consistent. Like it's never consistent with him. Like
And that, so I'm going to say this until it happens. Bowman and the rest of the management staff of the Edmonton Oilers, if they're serious about making a run again for the Cup in the this year or next year or whatever, they have to get that top elite goaltender. They cannot do it with the combo they have now. Pickard's good, and like Connor Ingram has had some struggles in Bakersfield, from what I understand. But I think it's time to bring him up. But
look at the winning goaltenders really of years past recently. You've got Bob. Okay, Darcy Kemper was kind of a one-off. That was a weird one with Colorado, but he got it done. Vasilevsky, Braden Holtby with Washington, Matt Murray and Pitt, Corey Crawford, Jonathan Quick, Tim Thomas in Boston, like even the Detroit teams, like you have Osgood, like hello, like these are all like elite goalies, and then you got Stuart Skinner, which he's an NHL goaltender, but that's the missing piece. Like he's not that every year the team that wins the Stanley Cup has the best goalie at that point. That's why you win. I mean, it helps when your team can put the puck in the net, but if you can't keep it out, you're not going to win. And like look at all those guys that I named, they're all Hall of Fame goaltenders, or going to be, except maybe Kemper. Stuart Skinner is not that caliber, and he shows it every season. He plays good for 4 or 5 games, and I think honestly, to management, that's enough for them. That they're happy with that. That they see he can win a few games.
You know what the double-edged sword is, Carr? The Oilers win, and they forget about the goaltending problems. Is when they lose. No, you got to do something now.
Well, look at the Columbus game. Okay, the Columbus game, they won 5-4 in overtime, but he still let up 4.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's not the bet. Like, that's it's gonna happen. Okay, and then last night, okay, he played a pretty good game. They got the win, but again, if it weren't for that offside call, they would have lost the game.
Yep.
Like, that's when you gotta. You can tell the difference. They just don't sometimes have that confidence when he's there. You see it on the bench after the Columbus 4th goal the other night. They're like, "Are you kidding me? Like, okay, it was a 2-on-1, a sweet play, but they want that save. Just give him the chance."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's like the air's taken out of the building when and it's just it's hard for anybody to back him up.
No, and what I heard in the Colorado game, which I haven't heard, I think ever, from the fans, was a little booing. They were getting just tired of, and I think I think they know that if goaltending is where the biggest hole is for the Oilers right now.
Well, imagine looking all your Saturday, maybe all your week forward to going to that game. It's prime time in Edmonton, at least. Saturday night matchup against the Colorado Avalanche, the 2022 Western Conference Final rematch against basically 2 high volume scoring teams. That game could have shaped up to be like a 5-4, 6-5 game, and it was 9-1.
9-1.
And you spend all that money, probably a few $100 to get into that arena to watch that game, and you watch that. Your goalies can't make a save, and you're getting embarrassed in your own building. And the Avalanche shouldn't have to stop scoring because the Oilers can't score. The Oilers can't stop the puck. They're gonna play. They're gonna play till the whistle, and good for them that they did, because the Oilers needed that kick in the butt, because in my opinion, just from an outsider's point of view, they have not looked the same as they have the last couple of years.
No,
They
they
just
haven't.
look kind of sheepish. They look like they're not that. I don't want to say legit. They don't look like that top contender anymore.
Yeah,
They just look like
they're
they've taken a step
definitely
back.
they're definitely taking a step back from the last couple of years, but we'll see what happens. But definitely, they need something to happen way before the trade deadline.
They're gonna. I feel like though Bowman's just gonna wait too long. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
he's
Like
been
they're
waiting for.
satisfied with, to these games where they win, like the Columbus game. Like
Mhm.
okay, it's gonna happen, but that's a pattern. That's a
Yeah.
pattern, and it's not like it's new. It happens a lot.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, moving on because I can rant about the Oilers goaltending forever.
We need to do a whole
Hyman,
episode where that's all you talk about.
yeah,
I'd be
we
happy.
should do that. Well, if it gets bad enough, we will. Shaq Hyman, expect to be back in the lineup for Saturday's game for the Oilers in Carolina. He's been out since Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. His season was out after he got a hand injury, so they were thinking he may play tonight in Columbus, but they're saying he'll be ready to go in Carolina. So that puts that gets another shooter on the ice. He can go back to being the backboard for McDavid and Draisaitl on the power play. It's going to take him a few games, of course, to get conditioned and stuff like that. So don't expect 50 goal scorer Zach Hyman to come out in the first couple of weeks. It's going to take him time to get conditioned and whatnot. But this is going to be a great move for the Oilers. But now, with Hyman in, who do you take out? Like that's the problem. I think
The boy.
I think one of the rooks are going to go. Howard. I don't know if Savoy. I think Savoy's going to stay. I think it would be Howard that would leave before Savoy, because Savoy's got some time with the big boys. He's got some time on the power play. I think it would be Howard that would go back down to Bakersfield, and Hyman can do only improve the Oilers from this point on. He's a former 50 goal scorer. If he was, I really believe that if he was healthy, because he was not only playing offense, he was knocking the hell out of people in the playoffs last year. If he would have been healthy, the Oilers might have had themselves their Stanley Cup. But he's back in the lineup on Saturday. It's going to be very interesting to see how he does over the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to give him a couple of weeks to get into condition, but it's looking good for the Oilers as far as getting Hyman back in the lineup. Next game for the Oilers, as they're right now playing Columbus, just scored. So it's 1-0.
Oh boy.
With about
The Oilers have been bad in Columbus for a while.
Yeah, they haven't had a good luck against Columbus. But the thing about it is the Oilers play better when they're from behind for some reason. I don't understand it why, but they're down 1-0 now with about 3 minutes left in the first period. And then the Saturday game in Carolina, Monday in Buffalo, Thursday they're in Tampa, and then the finale of the roadie is in Florida next Saturday night, for a rematch of the Stanley Cup Finals, which they've lost the last 2 years. So that's basically what's going on with the Edmonton Oilers now. We got a lot of injury updates, Carson, from the NHL. We'll start. Austin Matthews is going to be out a week with a lower body injury for the Leafs. I think the Leafs were leading tonight in their game. So,
well, the Leafs have had a bit of a problem this year. They're not looking that good right now.
Yeah. So the Leafs, without, it's only going to be like a week or so. But I think they were up 2-0 last time I saw the score tonight. So Matthews is out. Looks like Matthew Tkachuk is going to take to the ice for some ice drills in the next couple of weeks. He's been out since he hasn't played since Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals last year because of torn abductor muscle. The Panthers this year without him are 8-7-1. So, you look at the Panthers going, well, that's, just a little bit above 500.
That's fine. I mean, they've had a lot of problems. They've had a lot of injury problems.
They've had a lot of injuries, and if they can hang on, I would say after a couple of weeks ice,
maybe you can never count him out.
2 weeks, maybe he'll be back in around Christmas or close.
I think if they can get to Christmas right about 500, they'll be good.
They should be okay. Other injury news: Ryan Strome makes his season debut tonight for the Ducks against Detroit. He's been out since the preseason with an upper body injury. So he's going to, and the Ducks are playing really well. So that just is going to just boost their
Yeah, how
lineup.
about the Ducks?
Oh,
Golly, they're
they're
on
just,
fire. They're 11-4-1.
they're not a fluke anymore. They're going to be back to
Even
the way they were a few
look at
years
the
ago.
Sharks.
Yeah.
The Sharks too. They've picked themselves up.
The California teams are going to be that powerhouse
Oh,
California teams
how
again.
about this team? I hate to be rude, but how about the Minnesota Mild?
The Minnesota Mild? No.
They have not. That doesn't look like it's going to work very well this year.
No, don't think you're right. I think you're right. Boone Jenner is out long term for the Blue Jackets after an upper body injury against Seattle. Let's see, William Karlsson for the Knights is out week to week with a lower body injury, and the Knights are kind of slipping a little bit too. They're in the kind of like at the bottom of the Pacific, but that Pacific Division there's only 2 or 3 points that are separating, first from like
they're still above 500. So
yeah. Jamie Benn will make his season debut for the Dallas Stars next week after a punctured lung, so he's going to be back in the lineup. Thatcher Demko gets hurt again.
He's cursed.
He just got back from an injury.
He is cursed.
He got injured in the game here Tuesday night in Winnipeg, an undisclosed injury. He's just injury prone.
He's cursed. Like he just can't get away from it. He can't.
He can't get away from it.
You could bubble wrap him 20 times and you'd still find a way to get hurt. It's like it's not his fault, but it's just what it is.
Yeah. Nichushkin is out week to week for
we need to get you some pronunciation lessons.
Lower body injury to the Ducks on Tuesday. But some other news, other than injury news, Shane Pinto signed a 4-year, $30 million deal with the Senators. He has 14 points, 17 games, 8 goals, and 6 assists. That's kind of what's going on around the NHL.
Did you hear that the Leafs are terminating David Kamp's contract today?
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they are. They're terminating his contract here as of today. He won't be a part of that organization anymore. So it'll be interesting to see who goes after him or who tries to scoop him up, because he was a pretty decent part of that team.
Yeah.
So what about, look at the God, I can't think right now. Oh, the point race right now for top point scorers in the league. Do you know who's up there really right now?
No.
Okay, you have for total points, McKinnon's at 32, and then you got a lot of the young guns. So Leo Carlson from Anaheim's 26, Celebrini's 26, Bedard's 26 points.
Mm-hmm.
Like the new generation of the NHL is stepping up, and they're making their presence known. Yep. It's crazy to see how that's going. And then you look at even assists. McKinnon's got 18 points. McDavid 18 points. And third there in that list, they're all tied for first. Who do you think that third guy with the 18 assists is?
Isn't it Bedard?
Mm-hmm.
Celebrini?
Mm-hmm.
Sid?
Mm-hmm.
Who?
Evgeny Malkin.
Evgeny Malkin.
18 assists.
Wow.
He's been, I think, our best player this year, if I'm going to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
He's played just amazing the entire season. He's getting assists after, he's only got 3 goals, but he's getting all the assists.
Well, points. Like, I've always felt that the guy who sets up the goal is the key guy. He's the guy that makes the play. So it used to be, back in my day, the goal scorer would get 2 points and the assist guy would get 1. Then they made it just 1 across the board.
I feel like if anything, it should be opposite.
Yeah, because in 1980, the first year Wayne Gretzky played, he tied Marcel Dion for the scoring lead. But because Dion had more goals,
they gave
him
the
scoring title. But Gretzky had way more assists. To me, the assists are more important than the goals. And now, if you get just 18 assists and no goals, you're still making 18 plays that leads to 18 goals.
I know, like, and every line. I mean, his lines have had to shuffle because of injuries and all. Like his lines are just looking
Hmm.
awesome. You know, he the last few seasons it's been interesting with him. You know, he had the experiment that I thought was going to be amazing, which was him and Riley Smith together, and that
Hmm.
quickly
Yeah.
faded. But now, you know, this year he's got Mantha on his wing, who he's looked really good. I hope
Hmm.
that's somebody they keep around. But yeah, very interesting to see that he's still up there in the assist leaderboard. He's constantly getting them. I
Yep.
mean, that's he's over a point per game. He's at 21 points in 16 games. That's pretty darn good. And
I
so,
just think that the Penguins are starting to get everything together, and like, you after 15, 18 games here, that's when you're really seeing, okay, these are the teams that are going to
mhm.
do something.
Well, I
These are
really
the teams that
see
aren't going to.
a similarity a little bit between them and Washington, a little bit. How Washington never really had that full rebuild, but they were able to retool the team around what they had, and now they've got a good team again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's kind of, I feel like, the same thing here where they've got the pieces now that they're building up. They've got a lot of draft stock where they'll be able to be a pretty good team pretty quickly. I think a lot people right now, which I'm okay with where they're at in the uh, public opinion, that that's just like a fluke pretty much, that they shouldn't be where they're at, that they're doomed at some point to fall on their face. And I'm fine with that being the opinion because they finally don't have any expectations. So then when they keep winning and
Hmm.
winning and winning games, then people are like, well, is it for real? And people will still be doubting. And
Yeah.
then now, like, they've got all this draft stock that they're going to be
Mhm.
able to build the team up that way, that they're basically rolling right back up to being a playoff team pretty fast, consistently.
Yeah. So I really think this is you. They always say when you get to American Thanksgiving here, which is coming up in a couple of weeks, that's when you know who the top is and who the bottom is. So I think Pittsburgh is right up there with the top
Yeah.
in the Metro.
Now,
I think they will make the playoffs, and I think it's going to be more than just a wild card. I think they're going to actually be in there in the top three in the Metro.
yeah.
Um,
Now it's very interesting to look at it though too, how really the whole league is playing pretty well. I
yeah,
mean, you look at the standings every day, and there's a lot of teams that are well above 500 that are not in.
yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like some of that stuff's going to start separating. I
Hmm.
mean, the only really exceptions to this are Nashville and Calgary for the most part.
Hmm.
Other than that,
Yeah.
even Buffalo, but other than that, like everybody else is
Hmm.
at 500 or above.
Yeah, it's going to be a great rest of the season, and we're going to be here. We're probably thinking, folks, that Thursday nights about this time is when we're going to do, because that gives us a good chance to look at the week that was and the weekend ahead, especially. Um, you can. Always gonna be on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. We love for you to go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe.
Yep.
It's the Best Boy Center Ice podcast on YouTube. Also, it's live here on Facebook, and it's
It
going to be
is.
played here in just a little bit. You can get us there. We're trying to figure out another streaming option to use. We used SoundCloud before. We're looking at another streaming option. But you can catch us here. We'll always give you updates on when we're going to be on. If you'd like to message either one of us, we can both be messaged on our Facebook pages. You can message us through our YouTube channel. You can message us through TikTok, as we both do our TikTok post-game videos for the Oilers and the Penguins. We'd like to hear from you, but let us know how your team's doing. Who's your
Yep.
favorite team? Who do you got? As your way too early Stanley Cup final prediction. We'd love to hear from you. We love doing this. I love doing this with Carson. This is something we've always wanted to do. And Car, like you said, we got so many teams that
This
are like so bunched up in
the
each
season's
division.
gonna be very fun because I think there's gonna be a lot of teams in there that people weren't expecting to be, like the Ducks.
Yeah.
We could see a San Jose maybe get in there. I
Yep.
mean, wouldn't that be awesome? Like you got them, Utah, uh, Anaheim. Like that's gonna be. It's just gonna be fun season
Chicago's coming
regardless.
up too.
A lot of
Chicago's coming up.
change.
Yeah. So it's good. It's very exciting, and we hope that you out there listening have as much passion for the game as we do. Well, we're going to wrap things up for tonight. And as I always do, because it is Carson's favorite time of the
Oh my
show,
God.
in the meantime and in between time, everybody have a great hockey night.
God, go Stu.